After a day of tense calm, Palestinians in Gaza fired a Qassam rocket at southern Israel late Sunday afternoon. No one was injured and no damage reported. The incident occurred shortly after the Israel Air Force targeted a terror cell in southern Gaza, preparing to fire rockets. Throughout the day, the Army and emergency services remained on high alert in southern Israel after some 40 rockets were fired from the Gaza Strip at residential and open areas in southern Israel Saturday and Sunday morning. Egyptian media reports claimed they had succeeded in mediating a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. However, the halt in the rocket attacks lasted 8 hours. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu denied reports, claiming negotiations between Israel and Hamas, mediated by Egypt, had brought about a ceasefire. There is no ceasefire, Netanyahu told reporters on Sunday. Officials have yet to decide whether schools and colleges will remain closed on Monday, saying that decisions will be made in accordance with the situation. In Ashkelon, hundreds attended the funeral of Ami Moshe, a 56-year-old man who was killed on Saturday night when a grad rocket exploded near his car. Palestinian media reports from Gaza said a total of 10 Palestinians were killed in Israeli Air Force raids since the current escalation in violence erupted Saturday afternoon. I advise the Hamas and Islamic Jihad not to test Israel's capabilities. Words by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in response to the salvos of rockets that pounded southern Israel. Israel does not seek an escalation and will defend itself against all seeking to harm it, he said. President Shimon Peres said the government will do everything in its power to bring an end to the intolerable situation. Peres stressed Israel does not seek war, even though the rockets fired from Gaza are a declaration of war. Peres also added that while the majority of Arabs are trying to end oppression and poverty, Hamas is bringing oppression and poverty to the Gaza Strip. Any country would respond as Israel does to indiscriminate rocket fire on its citizens. As Grad and Qassam rockets pounded southern Israel, an estimated 20,000 Israelis gathered in Tel Aviv's Rabin Square, calling for social justice. It was the first major protest in the country in the past 2 months, signaling what organizers described as a return to the streets. It was a fraction of the size of the mass protests seen over the summer, but still managed to bring thousands into the streets. The escalating violence in the south forced a planned protest in Beersheba to be canceled. Organizers called out for the need for a welfare state and called on the government to do away with the current national budget and instead create a social budget that would allow more spending on social issues. Syria's President Bashar Assad warned if Western powers intervene in Syria, it will cause an earthquake that would burn the entire Middle East. In an interview with Britain's Sunday Telegraph newspaper, Assad said that Syria is the hub in the region. He added that it is the fault line. If you play with the ground, you will cause an earthquake. Any problem in Syria will burn the entire region, and attempts to divide Syria will divide the whole region. The interview was published over the weekend as Syrian security forces killed over 90 citizens, with armed forces firing at residential areas as anti-regime demonstrations continued throughout the country, with protesters demanding Assad step down. A survey conducted by the Bank of Israel on companies and businesses found that business activity has expanded for the third quarter of 2011, though marked moderation in the pace of growth was noticed. The survey said expectations for the next quarter indicate that the domestic component, as well as the manufacturing and services industries, will slow down, as well as the pace of growth for the first time since 2009. The survey expects inflation for the coming 12 months to return to within the 1% to 3% per year price stability target range, and said it currently averages 2.6% compared with the 3.1% in the previous quarter.